Eagles. Here's Seth McAfee, Elder McAfee here. I wanted to talk to you guys today about a very important matter, something that's a bit dire, but I want to talk to you guys about suicide. And I'm someone who was in that terrible situation. You know, I was a weird kid growing up. I just made stupid jokes, stupid sounds. I was just a weird kid. I was kind of ostracized from society. Didn't have too many friends, and so I always wanted to be with the popular kids, but I just didn't have that personality. So by the time 8th grade comes around, I have like 2 friends. I'm not in a good place, and just in this downward spiral of just depression and awful situation until last week of school. I made just this stupid decision, just no reason. It was just a stupid joke I made. It got me suspended for a week. So first nail on the coffin. Then next, I go home and my parents are like, look, maybe it's time to start something new. Maybe we should send you to somewhere different, like a different school. Like there's this new school down the road called ALA, and all my friends told me about ALA. Like it was some trash. All the rejects go over there. It's a total military school. I'm like, whoa, I don't want anything to do with that. I don't have any friends over there. I mean, like 4 friends I had, and so I wanted to go to Highland because that's the school that my brother went to. Highland, glorious. But so that night I was sitting there and I thought, wow, I have no friends. I'm gonna go to ALA and my life is over. What do I have going for me? And so that night I tied a dreaded knot and I was about to go for it. But a friend of mine called me just out of the blue. He was asking me if I wanted to hang out the next day. One of the few friends that I had. So I told him what was going on. He was like, dude, what? And so eventually it got to the point where I just wouldn't listen to him. He was trying to reason with me, and he ended up calling the police. And 20 minutes later, right as I'm about to collect my final thoughts and stuff, they show up at my door and they have this therapist with them, and they sat me down and was like, wait, so you wanted to end it because you're going to a different school? And I was like, yeah, none of my friends are going there. It's like a military school. And they're like, and he was like, Seth, this is a very permanent solution to a very temporary problem. And those words, that phrase I will remember that till the day I die. Suicide is a very permanent solution to a very temporary problem. So after that, I was able to stave off my original desire to go through with it. And so I was able to say, all right, I'll give it a little longer. But that sadness, that depression didn't really go away. And so summer came and went, and my parents ended up letting me go to Highland, and it was awful. The same thing. I had no friends. All the people I was on a football team, but I was bad at it because I didn't put my heart into it. But I was bullied by the football team, and I was ostracized again. I think I had maybe one friend, and he tried to distance himself from me after a while. After a while, I was just like, this kind of sucks. Like, what was I going for? Like, I was gonna kill myself because I was apparently gonna miss out on this. And so, right after Halloween, I decided, all right, I need a new change. What's going on? So, me and my parents, we took a tour at the new Gilbert North. And all the while I was there, and I was like, this just seems like another school. It's not as bad as I thought it was. It's not like a military school or anything, but and I was like, it just seems like another Highland. Like, what's different here? And then suddenly, I turn the corner, and boom, there's this huge Polynesian guy walking toward me, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of intimidating. And he comes up to me, he's like, hey, you guys touring the school? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, hey, I'm Coach Tommy James. I'm the wrestling coach here and the lineman football coach. And he was really charismatic, really nice, and he just talked about how amazing the school was and how amazing wrestling was. And I was like, all right, if there are people like Coach James here, then I'm sure it could be all right. So the next week, I was at ALA, and for about a month, I was just kind of getting situated, and my coach James came and talked to me again. He's like, "Hey, you wanna do wrestling?" I said, "Oh, I don't know if I don't know if that's for me. Kind of a weird sport, guys, rubbing up against each other, kind of weird." And so I was like, I don't really want it. But the next week, I was like, you know what? What do I have going for me? High school. Let's do something. So I decided I'll go to wrestling practice, and so that started my wrestling career. And as time went on, I realized that I had gained an identity with wrestling. I was a wrestler. Wrestlers, they're tough and they go hard and they just hurt. And and I eventually decided that life was worth living. This was around my junior year. I had just done awful at a tournament, and Coach James gave me this talking to that just screamed at me in Samoan or something. I don't even remember, but I just decided that it's overcoming those challenges that make life worth living. Now, I'm not a talented athlete, pretty much in the slightest. I may be big, but I'm not that strong, I'm not that fast. But I put my heart into wrestling. I put all I had into it. And my senior year, I ended up being a state finalist in the heavyweight against this guy who's, I might as well have been wrestling The Rock. This guy was just absolutely ripped and just, it was rough. But I became a state finalist, and I was like 4th in the state. I had gained a true identity. And now I've become someone. I've changed my life and become someone that I can call I am Seth. Now I'm Elder McAfee. I have an identity and I have a life worth living. Now, but then after thinking more, I realized that that was always the case. I always had a life worth living. It just hadn't begun yet. And I was going to erase all opportunity and all chances of that life ever happening. Now I'm a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I have work to do, and I'm going to go help as many people as I possibly can. So I was in the darkest of abysses, and now I'm at the highest peak. And so what I want all of you to know is that there are people who love you. The reason I was able to crawl out of my depression abyss was because I had people helping me along the way. My parents, Coach James, other wrestlers on the wrestling team, Coach Rystorf, all these people helping me become who I am. And they will help you. And I know that you have a life worth living. It's waiting for you. All you have to do is go live it. Do what you want to do. Become a wrestler. Become a softball player. Become an artist. Do what you want. Do what you love. Because that life is waiting to happen, and it's all on you to live it. And I just want to close with that. Suicide is the most selfish thing you can do.